Good evening friends. In this program, this is the fourth video of the lessons explaining the idea of the classes and objects. Now you have seen that every time whenever we have to design a class, then the member variables or the variables of the class are initialized with the help of a function getData. Now how does it work? When the compiler, like suppose the whole mechanism goes like this. When a function is to be executed, first the CPU is interrupted. Then interrupt is passed to the CPU. CPU stops whatever it is doing and then it just gives the attention to the function, executes it, and after execution it return back to whatever it was doing just to continue. So the CPU changed the states of the processes whatever it was performing before interrupted. So this is how it means when you are calling the functions all the time again and again unnecessarily, then this will increase the overhead cost on the CPU, burden on the CPU, and the performance of the program will be affected. So now so how we are just till now we are just trying to create the object like the data dd, and then with the help of this dd dot get data we used to initialize. Now then the compiler CPU, the C++ designers have just devised a new way, like whenever I create the object, then will not the value of the member functions initialized immediately just without calling any function. So yes, this can be achieved, and that's why they designed a new function, special kind of functions called as constructor. And now you see our name of the class is test, and this public first function test double a, so the name of the function is also test. This is a constructor. So test function which takes one double value and gives it to a variable x, and this function does not have a return type because this generally initialize. The special thing of this function is that it does not return any value, it doesn't have a return type, and its name is the name of the class. It's like if class name is test, then the constructor function's name should be test, and if the class name is compound I, then the constructor function's name should also be compound I. And then I have another functions which I'm just trying to explain. Many times we have seen that it is said that in the switch cases, generally it is suggested that you cannot use double values, you can use character and integer. But a true programming language always does not differentiate about the techniques. It is just like suppose if I have a mixer grinder, the mixer grinder mixes and the grinds everything whatever you input. Even if you put the stones into it, it will just try to crush it. So same way, whether you input the vegetables or whether you input the grains or whether you input the stones, it will just try to crush it. So the switch should not differentiate on the basis of. So even if you initialize the double value, the switch, the C++ being a true programming language, does not give you any syntactical error warning and does not pop up any compile time error. But this does not work because the float values are not stored. They have two variables. Float means just before the decimal that is called character, and after decimal that is called the mantissa, and these two variables are stored. Stored at two different segments, so accessing and informing is not that easy. And the C switch variables, it needs that particular kind of memory cells where the information is stored only at one place, and that is in the case of character and integer or the long short byte, means all integer type. So here in this case we are just trying to achieve, say that it should be so of it will not give you any warning x. Here so just you have to it should be of change that also. But what so I'll do is my double value here I typecast it to integer value, all these and all the vanishes. So it is, but there is this is just a manipulation. This is not required to do. Now see it's working, there is no flaw with that, but you can say indirectly I am working on the int only because I have declared x but I've typecasted it. It's not the wise thing to do. Yeah, that's the better word. So I'm just typecasting. Again it says that it should be of integral value selection variable x. So just you have to change that also. So x is my double value, here I typecast it to integer value and all the vanishes. So it is, but there is, this is just a manipulation. This is not required to do. Now see it's working, there is no flaw with that. But you can say indirectly I am working on the int only because I have declared x but I've typecasted it. So there is a loss in the data. So now the best way is just to make it int. But just I was trying to play with the syntax and try to see how I can manipulate with the languages. But these are not required because later if you just do not follow the instructions of the language, then that is not helpful in the real life application, because it is just like mathematics. You have to follow the rules. You can manipulate certain rules, just tweak them in your program, but they are not the true way of dealing them. So here I pass int value, I changed because I also found it's not working that way, and now here it says it works in this particular fashion. So the switch, generally I suggest you that you always take character or int values, not the float values. So this is about the switch we have discussed in the C videos also. Our just if you want to watch about the C syntax, because we are just retaining all the features of the C instead of using the printf and scanf. So just you can have the look at the C lecture videos, and then you'll find that you are in better position to understand C++. So now it's everything is integer. Now there's no problem, nothing is required to typecast from one type to another. It's working properly, and then it is a switch condition. It will take case 1, case 2, 1, 2 and enter the number properly. So this is how it works, and just subscribe to our channel, friends, and keep on watching our videos and practice, and then you will find that you are becoming a programmer slowly in a day or two.